So finally, we've got Inspire Medical as the third stock, and that's ticker symbol INSP. Talked a bit about competition for ResMed. This company is just truly innovative with their implantable device that not only takes away the bulk associated with sleep apnea, but also monitors and controls the breathing for a patient. Brian, what else can you tell us about Inspire Medical?
Yeah, so when a patient with sleep apnea tries a CPAP machine and goes off it for whatever reason, mass discomfort or nasal congestion or any other issues, they really historically have had no other options, basically. It's basically a CPAP or that's it. But along comes this company called Inspire Medical, which was actually spun off of Medtronic several years ago. So what these guys have done is they sell an implantable neurostimulator that is inserted directly into the body with a minimally invasive surgical procedure, and their device actually connects directly to the hypoglossal nerve, which controls the movement of the tongue and the other airway muscles. And the device actually constantly monitors a patient's airway while they are asleep. And whenever a blockage is detected, it emits a tiny little electrical stimulation to the nerve, which automatically opens up the tongue without the patient having to do anything. So this is actually a surgically implanted medical device that basically allows the patient's airway to stay open all night long without having to wear a CPAP machine. So very cool technology.
Very cool technology. Todd Campbell and I had a chance to talk about this company maybe a few months ago. He said he actually had to use a CPAP machine. He was considering Inspire's technology. On the surface, it would seem that an implantable device, while more convenient and less apt for compliance issues, would be limited to just a smaller subset of patients because there's this minimally invasive surgery involved, which, many people will tend to put off if they don't have to. So in some ways, I could see this being a potentially less lucrative opportunity than CPAP machines. But Brian, when I look at their top lines and even their margins, I'm just blown away by their performance, especially since they've only been FDA approved since 2014.
Yeah, so over between 2016 and 2018, their top line grew at a 75% compound annual growth rate, and for this year, they're estimated to grow at least 36% to about $70 million. And what you mentioned before, one thing that's very impressive is even at their low relative sales volume, this company is already producing a gross margin on their device above 80%. So that is very exciting when you have both a high gross margin and a high sales growth rate. That can just lead to eventually magic on the bottom line. But the company is not quite crossed into profitability just yet. Last year, they lost about $22 million from operations. But they do have a really good balance sheet. They have $176 million in cash as of the most recent quarter and only about $25 million in debt. So that is plenty of liquidity to continue funding losses as they go forward. But I think the odds are good that these guys could reach profitability relatively soon, given their extremely high growth rate and their gross margin. And as you mentioned before, one of the questions that I had when I first learned about this company was, how big is their market size? Because to qualify for this device, you had to have tried a CPAP machine and failed on it. Well, it turns out that about 35% to 65% of patients who try a CPAP machine end up abandoning the therapy. So that translates into about 500,000 patients in the US that could qualify for Inspire's device every single year. And from a revenue perspective, that translates into about a $10 billion opportunity in the US alone. So the opportunity here is huge.
It's huge. And they're also looking to expand their approvals. So they're working right now to lower the age and also expanding internationally. What can you tell us about that, Brian?
Yeah, so they already have approval in Europe and Japan for their device, which is great to see, getting that out of the way. But they're only currently available for sale in Germany because they're not going to go and open up new markets until reimbursement has been established. And this is definitely a brand new category of medical device for treating sleep apnea. So when that happens, there's no kind of pathway for them to follow to gain reimbursement. So that does take time. But as those reimbursements come online, they're definitely going to have the opportunity to open up new market opportunities. But as I mentioned before, just their opportunity in the U.S. alone is $10 billion versus $71 million in revenue expected for this year. So they're not even close to scratching their surface, their other opportunity in the U.S., let alone when you add on the international stuff. So they can really go slow and take their time with international expansion because their opportunity in the U.S. is just so big.
Exactly what I like to see, just massive opportunities, both domestically and internationally.